Wow. Well, that's a really awesome story, and it sounds like, yeah, the bug just bit you right from there, and you never looked back, and you really blazed quite a trail for yourself too. Being that it's not every day you see a woman willing to go in there, having the ovaries to step in there, do a death match, take all kinds of punishment, and more often than not, in your case, come out on top. So I think that's great to see. How did the death match stuff come along? Was that part of the plan, or was it just, kind of something you stumbled into?
That was part of my plan, not my trainers. I was also trained by Ian Rotten, so like he did the deathmatch stuff, but he didn't want me to do the deathmatch stuff. I don't know. And I knew I had to make myself a commodity. I had to make myself something unique and special. And I knew I wasn't going to be the pretty one. I knew that. And I knew I wasn't going to be like the really like my athleticism is usually for brute and brawling. Like I know where my strengths are. I've always been a kid that got into fist fights. I've always been a kid that, you know, liked to roughhouse and play. I was always a tomboy. I did backyard wrestling before I even got into wrestling. That's actually how I got hooked up with the trainer. And then, uh, so I was always in that element for me.
Hmm.
And I don't know. It's just I knew that I had to do something to set myself apart. And there wasn't a lot of women doing death matches. And I knew I had a really high pain tolerance. I knew that. And my willpower is if I see something I need to do or I want to do, I'm going to do it no matter what.
Hmm.
Like I went through some of the hellish days of training, but I never thought to complain. I just thought, okay, this is what I need to do to get where I want to be. And then I would start begging to be in death matches and I would get told no. And I'm not doing that. And that's not my path. And it really took Pondo. Pondo was one that really was like, I don't see why you don't let her do it. I mean, we saw women in Japan do it. Why can't Mickie do it? If she wants to do it, let her do it. Let her try to prove herself. I mean, like, so it was really Pondo that was like, that kind of like gave the nudge forward for me to be able to do that.
Hmm.
So if it wasn't for him, I don't know if I would have been allowed that. I'm sure eventually I would have done it anyways, because it's better ask for forgiveness than permission in some places. But I don't know.
Well, I think they had your best interest at heart when they, didn't want you doing that, but I think maybe they also just kind of underestimated you in
The
that.
long, maybe, maybe the
I mean,
longevity of a death match wrestler is not very lengthy. Um, so maybe it was the fact of trying to make sure I was going to be able to handle a duration of wrestling instead of just this short little spurt of hardcore
yeah.
badassery. But
Because I mean, I find it interesting that not only did you, as a woman going into death matches, but also at your age, you were pretty young going into that too. So I think that's something that maybe most people don't realize is that, you were a real brave young lady to say, I'm going to step in there with the guys in the barbed wire, in the thumbtacks, come hell or high water, I'm going to do this and prove it. So, uh,
I'm not necessarily hold on. I'm not necessarily sure it was brave. You know what they say about us young ones. We're young, dumb, and full of cum. I mean, it just we're just stupid. And sometimes we do stupid things with the best intentions at heart. But yeah, not sure if it was braveness or stupidity, but
yeah.
we'll agree to disagree.
No, that's all right. And you know what? I do think you are pretty brave because in the, I think, I don't know, close to 50 episodes I've done here, that's probably the first time somebody's cut me off and set the record straight. So, it's okay. I can take a hit as well as I can give it. And I appreciate you doing that. It definitely endears you to me a lot more.